the Colts used the transition tag on Daniel Jones. And big picture, I mean, let's think about the arc of Daniel Jones' career. Mm-hmm. He signs the 4-year, $40 million per year contract with the Giants. They tear it up during his second season. He gets the bubble wrap reaction. We got to get this guy on the bench because it was like $25 million in injury guarantees. It would have been fully guaranteed.
Yep.
He asked to be released. And I remember Tom Brady dragged him for asking to being released. And it's like, no. This is they're done with him. He wants to go somewhere else and play. He did the right thing by asking to be released by the Giants. They were never going to put him back on the field.
No.
They put him on the sideline, and he was done. So he got a chance to go to Minnesota. They loved him in Minnesota, even though he didn't play. And then he gets a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Colts last year at a time when many thought he would stay with the Vikings. And what a difference a year makes. $14 million last year. Now he's going to make $37 million plus under the transition tag. If he signs it. Until he signs it, they can yoink it away. But when he signs it, he's making $37 million. That's not a bad situation for a guy who's got a torn Achilles tendon that he suffered less than 3 months ago. There's no exceptions in this. You got to pass a physical. You sign that thing, you're getting the $37 million plus.
Yeah.
It's a good outcome for Daniel Jones. As good of an outcome as you're going to see for a guy who's got a torn Achilles tendon.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's rare to get, hey, I got a torn Achilles tendon. I can't walk up the stairs yet, but I got a $37 million payday coming my way. Incredible. Good for him. He's been through a lot, as we know. We've talked about it. He was screwed over in a bad situation with the New York Football Giants. That wasn't easy. Here it is, 2 places in a row with 2 guys that I would consider kind of quarterback gurus, Kevin O'Connell and Shane Steichen. You know I'm a fan of that Shane Steichen offense and what he does. Those 2, there they are. They've gotten a look at Daniel Jones. And they've both been like, oh, my gosh, he's so impressive. I want him. I want to keep him here. I want to keep him here. He's amazing. I mean, because, again, if is one of the biggest disconnects in the sport of what the public thinks of Daniel Jones and what the league thinks. He's smart as hell. He's a great athlete. He is a consistent machine thrower of the football. So there's a lot you can do there, and that's where O'Connell and Shane Steichen have seen that value in him. And then they use the transition tag. They use the transition tag. Why, Mike? I mean, let's unpack that a little bit, because the franchise tag was north of $43 million, so they saved themselves about $6 million. That's the big reason. And then they probably hear, okay, we can save $6 million, but there's rumors that Minnesota might like him or other teams might like him and offer him, and they would just want to give themselves the chance to offer that. Because also, within what you're saying, it's even more crazy for a team like Minnesota who might want him to, compete with J.J. McCarthy and do that, to give him a price tag of that nature with an Achilles, and yet you still might not be the starter. So I feel like they almost kind of called the bluff of the league a little bit with the transition tag here.
I think you're right. They're in position where they can match any offer that's made. And anytime you've got a guy who's got that right of first refusal, which is all the transition tag gives, some teams are reluctant to basically negotiate the player's next contract with his current team for free.
Exactly.
Now, I remember the Alex Mack situation from several years ago. He was in 2014 transition tag. When you consider that Daniel Jones is represented by Athletes First and they have tentacles throughout the league, they have players on every team, it's possible that someone will do Athletes First a favor by putting together an offer sheet that they would happily execute and absorb Daniel Jones as their quarterback, but they know full well this thing's going to be matched, but that gets Daniel Jones his contract long-term with multi-year security and the 37-8, which is the bird in the hand. There's still a way to get the 2 in the bush. And it could be that someone, in exchange for vague, undefined, mafia-style favor, do me a favor, I'll owe you a favor. Somebody may do the Colts a favor do Athletes First, a favor by negotiating the contract that the Colts will then match.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I think the big thing is for other teams out there, just go, that's a risky thing to do for a guy that you haven't had in your building unless you're Minnesota, and you don't know really what he's all about, and he's recovering from the Achilles tear, and like what you talked about yesterday, he's been beat up in his career. because he had the worst O-line in football around him and with the New York Giants forever there, to, yeah, he's taking some wear and tear. So I think that's where the Colts made the calculated decision to go, I think we could save $6 million. That might be one or two good players on our team, backups, whatever else. And let's see where it goes. But, as we see here, the Colts are kind of desperate. They got to make it work with Daniel Jones. I mean, there's limited options right now. Ballard is, of course, I don't want to say on the chopping block, but him and Shane Steichen are certainly looked at in the league like, wow, I can't believe they got another chance. There's some of that. The media looks at it that way. So this is a big year. They need to make it work. And I don't think they want to go down the route of let's bring in a new quarterback to try to figure out the system of Shane Steichen and all that once again. They'd like to have a little continuity, and I think they believe in Daniel Jones. So we'll see where that goes.
And to the extent that the owner was involved, Carly Ursay-Gordon, we know that she's got full information because she's on the sideline all the time. So if it was her call at the end of the day, it's an informed decision, not something where she's relying on secondhand information as to the investment they're willing to make in a guy with the torn Achilles tendon. And, it reminds me of last year with Chris Godwin and the Buccaneers. He had that badly injured ankle, but the Patriots were ready to sign him with no language in the contract protecting the team in the event that the injury lingers into the season. And lo and behold, the Buccaneers end up signing him to a contract with no protections for the team. And when did he ultimately become available? 5-6 weeks into the season, and he's still not the same guy he was.
No.
But that's what leverage gives you. And Daniel Jones' situation puts him in a spot where the 37-8 is in hand, and it can only go up from here. And we'll see if somebody pursues him and signs him to an offer sheet, either because they're trying to put together an offer sheet the Colts won't match or can't match, or because they're doing athletes first a favor by negotiating for free the next contract that Daniel Jones will sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.